Tableau Public has a vast assortment of Viz types for you to use, but sometimes you don't always know what the best option is. This is why Show Me is such a useful feature. You can highlight the dimensions and measures that you want to use, and Show Me will tell you what Viz types you could use and what it recommends. As you can see, the options are numerous. Horizontal bars are good for quickly comparing one measure across one or more dimensions, especially when you want to sort. For example, we could look at metals by country and sort by total metals. Stacked bars are good when you want to divide something like this into even more categories. For example, we could drag year to the color shelf. If we really wanted to compare how a country's performance differed each year, we could make these side-by-side bars. Pie charts can be used to show proportions of a measure by one or more dimensions. They work best if the dimension you're basing your angles on has very few categories. This pie chart breaks down how many bronze, silver, and gold medals Canada has won. We could add another dimension like summer or winter to the columns shelf and see the differences between the two types of Olympic Games. It looks like Canada performs better in the Winter Olympics. Scatter plots are a great Viz type for when you want to show a lot of different data. You can choose 2 to 4 measures plus more dimensions. Here we have total medals versus percentage of gold on the axes. The shape represents the type of games, a sun for summer and a snowman for winter, and the colors represent the year. A circle view is a good way to view the range of a measure by a dimension. It's also a good way to find outliers. For example, here we can see that US athletes in their 20s win an incredible amount of medals. If you wanted to see this information on a map, you have 2 choices. We could make a filled map that shows the total medals. Filled maps are good for looking at sums of one measure. Here, a darker green means more medals. If we wanted to show more than one measure, we could change this to a symbol map. Now we have the size representing the total number of medals. We can use color to represent another measure or dimension, like the percentage of gold medals. Line graphs are used for showing continuous data. For example, we could look at total medals by age to see the age distribution of medal winners. Discrete lines can be used to compare trends over categories. To do this, we'll need to add a discrete dimension to our line graph. For example, we could add sport to our line graph and see age distributions by sport. Now we can see that athletes who win medals in archery have a wider age range than those who win in alpine skiing. Area charts are a good choice when you want to see the change in proportions over a continuous measure. Here we can see how many medals Brazil has won over the different Olympic years separated by sport. It looks like they improved their volleyball game. Tree maps are a new Viz type in Tableau Public 8 that are great for comparing multiple measures by categorical dimensions and quickly finding outliers. Here, the size of a box represents the total sum of medals won for a sport, and the color represents the average age. I also have a label on here to show how the boxes can be sorted into larger rectangles, one for summer games and one for winter games. Here we can see that Olympians participating in equestrian events tend to be older than most Olympic athletes, and those doing rhythmic gymnastics tend to be younger. Packed bubbles are new in Tableau Public 8 and are a visually interesting way to show differences in measures across one or more dimensions. Here, size of the bubbles represent total medals and color represents the percentage of medals that were gold. We could add summer or winter to the column shelf to compare packed bubbles across the different Olympic Games. You can see a lot less countries participate in the Winter Games. Using Show Me is a great way to get started exploring your data when you aren't quite sure which Viz types you want to use. Thanks for watching.